Tiffany Henyard's leadership for South Florida. FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dalton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard.
The scandal surrounding Mayor Tiffany Henyard in Dalton, Illinois, has rocked the town to its core, grabbing headlines and sparking widespread concern. The FBI has launched an investigation into Henyard's administration, specifically focusing on the operations of the Tiffany Henyard Foundation. Federal agents are reportedly digging into financial records, scrutinizing transactions over $10,000 in hopes of uncovering signs of financial mismanagement, misuse of public funds, and political corruption. Though the investigation is still in its early stages, it's already sending shockwaves through Dalton's political landscape, leaving local officials, especially the town trustees, deeply alarmed. Henyard's already tarnished reputation, fueled by long-standing accusations of using her office for personal gain, has taken a serious hit as the federal probe unfolds. The investigation is adding weight to the claims of financial mismanagement, political favoritism, and a questionable abuse of power. While details remain scarce, unconfirmed reports suggest that the FBI is expanding its inquiry, with key Dalton residents now being questioned, which means the scope of the probe is growing. Once a popular figure admired for her supposed efforts to revitalize Dalton, Henyard now finds herself at the heart of a scandal that is quickly eroding her political support. The investigation is raising serious red flags, particularly around potential misuse of public funds. Large expenditures on personal security and out-of-town travel have raised eyebrows, especially given Dalton's tight financial situation. These extravagant spending habits have only fueled the growing public discontent. More troubling, however, are the emerging reports that Henyard may have used her power to interfere with local businesses, targeting those who dared to oppose her re-election. One of the most shocking examples involves George, the owner of Chasen House, who claims his business license renewal was delayed after refusing to back Henyard's re-election campaign. Another case involves Boonwood, a local business owner, who alleges his license renewal was held up for nearly a year due to his connections with trustees who were critical of Henyard. These allegations suggest a disturbing pattern of political retaliation, with business owners reportedly penalized for not aligning with Henyard's political agenda. As the FBI's investigation progresses, Dalton residents are growing increasingly wary of Henyard's leadership. The allegations of corruption and political interference have cast a long shadow over her administration, particularly among business owners who view the local government as a system of favoritism. Even local officials who have long disagreed with Henyard's approach are now speaking out, warning of the long-term damage her actions could do to Dalton's reputation. This rising skepticism has sparked calls for greater transparency in how public funds are managed and how political decisions are made. Residents are demanding more accountability from their elected officials, accusing them of acting in their own self-interest rather than serving the people they were elected to represent. As the investigation continues, many hope it will reveal the full extent of Henyard's alleged misconduct. What began as dissatisfaction with extravagant spending and political favoritism has now escalated into a full-blown crisis of trust. The residents of Dalton are no longer just questioning Henyard's leadership, they're demanding answers. The fate of Dalton and Henyard's political career now hang in the balance. Will the investigation uncover the truth, or will Dalton's leadership continue down this turbulent path of scandal and distrust? Investigation has intensified these concerns as it shines a spotlight on the possible misuse of public resources for personal gain. The revelation of a Las Vegas trip funded by taxpayer dollars has only added fuel to the fire, with many locals questioning whether Henyard and her administration have been prioritizing personal indulgences over the needs of the community. The lavish spending, including questionable personal expenses, combined with underfunded fire departments, crumbling infrastructure, and neglected public services, has created a growing sense of anger and frustration among residents. Many feel as though their concerns have been disregarded for years, with Henyard's leadership appearing more focused on maintaining power and self-promotion than on serving the people of Dalton. The residents who once supported her are now feeling betrayed, and the public perception of her administration has quickly shifted from admiration to disillusionment. The FBI investigation, however, has brought a renewed sense of hope to the town. For those who have long criticized Henyard's leadership, the investigation offers a glimmer of potential justice. It's a chance to break the cycle of inefficiency, corruption, and favoritism that has haunted Dalton for so long. There's a collective hope that this probe will not only uncover the truth, but also bring accountability to the town's leadership and restore some sense of financial stability, which has been seriously compromised under Henyard's watch. The mayor's controversial decisions and alleged self-serving actions have raised a critical question. Has the local government really been working for the benefit of all Dalton residents, or just for a select few with political connections? The more the investigation unfolds, the more these questions gain weight. Business owners in particular are voicing their concerns about the politically motivated decisions that have negatively impacted their livelihoods. They claim that permits and licenses were delayed and businesses were unfairly targeted due to their opposition to Henyard's re-election efforts. These actions have created a deep divide between the mayor's supporters and the local community, with the public increasingly demanding that Henyard be held accountable for her actions. As the investigation progresses, the pressure on Henyard to step down is mounting. The support she once had is quickly eroding. Local officials who previously stood by her are now distancing themselves from the scandal, and the public is demanding answers. Henyard's once solid political foundation is crumbling, and her ability to recover from the damage to her reputation seems increasingly unlikely. The FBI investigation, while still ongoing, has already had a profound impact on Dalton's political environment, and it's clear that it will continue to reshape the town's leadership dynamic. Many hope that the investigation will serve as the catalyst for much-needed change, ushering in a new era of leadership focused on transparency, integrity, and accountability. But for now, Dalton's residents are left in suspense, watching as the investigation unfolds, hopeful that it will lead to justice and the beginning of the town's recovery. Public relations firms representing Henyard's office have maintained that neither she nor the town of Dalton has been formally contacted by the FBI or served with subpoenas. However, the growing public outcry and mounting evidence suggest that the investigation is gathering momentum. Whether Henyard will be able to weather the storm or if Dalton's residents will finally see the change they have long demanded remains uncertain. But one thing is clear. The investigation has sparked a renewed sense of hope and determination among Dalton's citizens, who are now more resolute than ever in their efforts to reclaim their town and restore integrity to local government. As the situation continues to evolve, Dalton's residents are watching closely, eagerly awaiting the outcome of the investigation. The stakes are high, and the future of the town depends on the accountability of its leadership. The time for change may have arrived. Will Mayor Tiffany Henyard be able to survive this scandal, or will Dalton finally get the leadership it deserves? Only time will tell. Dalton, Illinois. As the investigation continues, residents are grappling with the reality of what could be uncovered. The Las Vegas trip, funded by public money, remains a focal point, and the FBI's focus on the details surrounding this expenditure is raising serious concerns. The hope for many is that this investigation won't just result in legal accountability, but will also bring about a much-needed shift in Dalton's leadership, one that places the needs of the community at the forefront and demands a level of transparency and integrity that has been sorely missing. For years, Dalton's residents have felt neglected, their concerns ignored, and their town mismanaged. But with the FBI now involved, they see a chance for change. The investigation has instilled a sense of optimism that Dalton can rebuild, restore trust in its government, and demand leadership that prioritizes honesty, accountability, and the well-being of all citizens. With each new revelation, the call for reform intensifies, and the desire for a government that truly serves its people grows louder. The idea of a future where Dalton is led with integrity, transparency, and fairness now feels like a real possibility. The investigation is now delving deeper into Henyard's administration, uncovering troubling allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and possibly even retaliation against those who opposed her. Among the issues under investigation are travel records, charitable foundations linked to Henyard's leadership, and accusations involving Andrew Holmes, one of Henner's close associates. These allegations suggest that Henner may have used her political influence not to serve the town, but to settle personal scores and further her own interests, deepening the mistrust within the community. Dalton's residents have long criticized Henner's hiring practices, which many see as politically motivated and designed to reward loyalists while punishing those who disagree with her. This has led to a growing sense of division within the town, with people increasingly questioning the integrity of the mayor's decisions and leadership style. The lack of transparency surrounding Henner's administration has only added to the concerns as residents wonder whether their tax dollars are being used responsibly or squandered on personal agendas. Financially, the town of Dalton is in crisis. At least 19 lawsuits are currently ongoing in Cook County in federal court, and the town's attorney has revealed that there are plans to abandon these lawsuits due to non-payment, which raises red flags about the management of public funds. This mismanagement of resources is exacerbating the town's already dire financial situation, and residents fear that the continued neglect of their community's well-being could lead to even greater economic decline. Despite growing public pressure and calls for accountability, Henner has refused to allow an independent, impartial investigation into her actions. Instead, she vetoed a proposal that would have authorized such an investigation, which many see as a self-serving move aimed at protecting her own position. This decision has only fueled suspicion that Henner is more concerned with maintaining her power than ensuring transparency and fairness in local government. Her refusal to step down in the face of mounting scandals has only worsened her public image, and many Dalton residents are increasingly frustrated with a mayor who seems more interested in defending herself than addressing the needs of the people. The town of Dalton stands at a critical crossroads. The ongoing FBI investigation has given residents a glimmer of hope that meaningful change may be possible, but there are still many uncertainties. Will the findings lead to the reform the town desperately needs, or will Dalton continue to be mired in dysfunction and scandal? The future of Dalton's reputation, its financial stability, and its ability to heal depend on the outcome of this investigation, and Henner's actions during this crucial time will likely leave a lasting mark on the town's future. For Dalton, the stakes could not be higher. The residents are demanding answers, and the pressure for Henner to take responsibility for her actions is mounting. As the investigation unfolds, the hope for a brighter, more accountable future for Dalton grows stronger, and the clock is ticking on whether the mayor will be able to weather the storm or if this will be the beginning of a new chapter in the town's history. The ongoing FBI investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard's administration has sparked a powerful and growing movement in Dalton, Illinois. Residents are increasingly united in their demand for systemic change, with many seeing this investigation as the long-awaited catalyst for a much-needed transformation. For the first time in years, the people of Dalton believe that this is their moment to break free from the cycle of corruption, poor leadership, and political self-interest that has plagued their town for far too long. The investigation has unearthed significant issues within Henyard's leadership, ranging from financial mismanagement to retaliatory political appointments designed to punish those who opposed her. As each new detail emerges, the pressure on Henyard to be held accountable intensifies. The public outcry grows louder, and Dalton finds itself at a crossroads, facing the possibility of real change or continuing to be trapped in the same dysfunctional cycle. Dalton's residents have had enough of the dishonesty, favoritism, and self-serving actions that have characterized the town's leadership for years. They want a government that prioritizes the people's needs, not the interests of those in power. If the FBI investigation can uncover the truth about Henyard's alleged misconduct and the widespread corruption within her administration, it could pave the way for the kind of accountability that Dalton desperately needs. However, the path forward is still uncertain. Will Henyard's leadership finally come to an end, or will the town continue to be held hostage by the same forces of mismanagement and corruption? As the investigation unfolds, the future of Dalton is in the balance. The people are demanding justice, and they are ready for a government that is transparent, accountable, and committed to serving the community, not the self-interest of political leaders. For many residents, this investigation represents more than just an opportunity to expose past wrongdoings. It is a chance to create a new era of governance in Dalton, one based on fairness, transparency, and accountability. It is a chance to build a town where the public trust is restored and where officials are held to the highest ethical standards. As the investigation continues, Dalton's residents are rallying behind the belief that their town deserves leadership that works for them, not for personal gain. The stakes are high, and the community is united in its demand for change. With the FBI now involved, there is a renewed sense of hope that this is the moment Dalton has been waiting for. The growing movement among residents signals that they are ready to leave behind the era of Henner's mismanagement and usher in a new chapter of ethical leadership. The hope is that Dalton can rise above the corruption and dysfunction that has defined its past and build a future rooted in integrity and accountability. Dalton residents are determined to ensure that the mistakes of the past are never repeated. They are committed to a vision of governance where public officials are held accountable for their actions and where the well-being of the people is the top priority. The FBI's investigation has already emboldened the town's citizens, and they are resolute in their belief that the findings of the probe will lead to a better future for Dalton. This is a pivotal moment for Dalton, and the outcome of the investigation will have lasting consequences. The people of Dalton are not just hoping for justice, they are demanding it. They are determined to create a future where leadership is defined by transparency, fairness, and a dedication to the common good. The lessons learned from this period of corruption and mismanagement will shape the town's future, and the residents are ready to reclaim their community and restore their faith in local government. The investigation into Henner's administration has ignited a renewed sense of hope in Dalton. For the first time in a long while, the residents believe that meaningful change is within reach. They are rallying for a town where public officials prioritize integrity over power, and where the interests of the community are always put first. The future of Dalton is at a critical juncture, but the hope is that the outcome of the investigation will mark the beginning of a new chapter, one that is built on transparency, accountability, and a commitment to serving the people. This is Dalton's chance to rebuild, to reclaim its government, and to ensure that the mistakes of the past are not repeated. The people are determined, and their demand for justice is growing stronger with each passing day. The FBI investigation may be the turning point that Dalton so desperately needs, and as it unfolds, the residents are hopeful that it will bring the change they have been waiting for. It is time for Dalton to heal, for accountability to be restored, and for the town to enter a new era of leadership that prioritizes the well-being of all its citizens.